Yo, what is up guys, it's FM Illusions and welcome back to another Warzone video. Today, I'm basically saying sorry for not being able to post over the 2 weeks. There's been lots of school, it's like finals basically, and there's just been a lot of stuff going on. But today I'm going to be presenting my top 5 most popular, or my favorite guns to use in Rebirth. And I think it's just solely Rebirth because they're very aggressive builds, and a lot of people, and I'd say about 70% of the Warzone community, thinks that Rebirth is just a little bit better than Verdansk just because it's just a little bit, it's getting a little bit dull, gameplay is slow, and when it comes to Rebirth, a lot of people like being aggressive and just having fun, and also not having to worry about actually dying because if they have good teammates, they can actually be brought back, and they can also get high kill games. So without further ado, I'm going to start from 5 to 1. So in number 5, we're going to be starting with the GRAW and the MP5. Now, before I start actually just explaining about why of my top 5 list, I just want to say that just because these lower end numbers, like not top 3, doesn't mean that they're viable. Are you kidding me? They're my favorite 5, so I think it's most viable, and I think this must definitely be used. So first, we're gonna start with the GRAW. It's one of the most well-rounded weapons, and it used to be the best AR to go to in Warzone. Low recoil, amazing iron sights, and there's not really much more you need for maybe an unadvanced player in Warzone, and for actually a pro player because it's super simple to headshots. And I feel like since Rebirth isn't nearly as big as Verdansk, you won't have to worry about having that much damage drop off, considering that that island is a very small map. Then, because this build that I'm using is just a little bit for medium to short range, you got the MP5 for a little bit longer ranges than most other up close and aggressive SMGs, but this is still a very, very, very aggressive SMG. So we're just going to start going with the loadout. There's nothing really changed about my GRAW loadout: monolithic commando, archangel barrel, tac laser, and the 60 round mags. And I recently changed my my MP5 loadout from instead of using the monolithic integral, I put on the monolithic, and then I take off sleight of hand and put on collapsible. But I recently looked up about JGod and True Game Data, which is one of the most reliable websites to test out guns for their damage drop-offs and damage ranges, and monolithic integral suppressor actually I do think gives a better damage drop-off and buff compared to the monolithic suppressor itself. So this is what I run. I'm not really a huge fan of 5 milliwatt laser because I'm not like a hipfire guy, but the sleight of hand is really good for like trios and quads. If you want to switch it to duos or solos with your buds, then I get it because you don't have to, go as fast as possible. But this is one of my favorite loadouts so far, and I literally just used it like a game after I started recording this video, and I got a win with, let me check and see if it's my ranks on here. I got 7 kills and 3k damage, which is honestly, in my opinion, I think it's pretty good, but it's not one of my best games. But yeah, this is my top 5 gun. So now the next guns I'm going to be talking about in my top 4 spot is the Krig 6 and the Cold War MP5. Now, after this new Season 3 update, I feel like a lot of the guns have changed, and there's been a wide range in metas, and I feel like people have started to bring this Krig up to surface, because it's got a huge buff, and it's definitely a contender. Just like the GRAW, it has low recoil and very easy to control. But I think it does offer a little bit more than the GRAW because it does offer just a tiny bit more damage than the GRAW. I also like the MP5. It has surface a little bit more just because of its high damage, like its brother, the MP5. But I think they are both pretty well matched against each other, considering the MP5 for Modern Warfare does have a easier recoil pattern, while this just offers a tiny bit more damage and better a headshot multiplier. So here, there's not really much to say about this, but it's just really good considering that this is extremely good at range, and if you want to get the job done up close, then this is the good loadout for you. Oh, almost forgot. Here's the loadout. This is the agency suppressor, 19.7 ranger for that extra range. So use that multi-zoom, which if you haven't tested it, JGod has tested, and it does give less visual recoil on the default zoom. So not when you zoom it in more, it does offer just a little bit more recoil like the axial arms, but without the zoom, it does look a little bit better on paper. Field agent grip for the underbarrel, sorry, my mind just froze, and the 45 round mag. Now, some people go with the 60 round mag, but I think that if you can hit your shots with this gun, which is very simple to, you shouldn't really be needing that extra 15 rounds, and the reload's a little bit quicker, and you can just and you can move around, which is exactly what you need to look for in rebirth games. So now for the third place, and this is where we get a little bit more serious, and I think this might be a shocker to some people because they don't certainly think that the M4 can be up this high, or the LC10 can be up that high, but I do think it is. Okay, the M4, you saw in my video, I went ham with this. This is one of my favorite ARs in the game. It's so reliable, and the recoil is easy. The damage is super high, and I just think it's super easy to control, and it's definitely compatible with AMAX or the Ram, which are the two contenders, which will basically foreshadow, and the LC10. Now, when the Season 3 came out, I was thinking, oh yeah, the Mac-10's done. It's just not the same anymore. So I turned to the LC10, and boy, my eyes were open. I was so surprised by this gun. This gun has a super high fire rate, easy recoil. Everything is good about it, alright? The mobility is good. It's just so easy to control, and that fire rate is what some people definitely look for in their SMG, and I know I don't have the right attachments for it. I don't have it right now because it's only level 35. So I'm pulling it up right now, and you need the agency suppressor, task force barrel, field agent grip, 55 round mags, and the SAS combat stock. And I just think this is a really good weapon. It's very solid too. And the M4, it's nothing has changed. I like the monolithic grenadier barrel, commando foregrip, 50 round mags, and the VLK 3.0 optic. I like to use the Corvus sometimes, but I just think the grenadier just does a little bit more damage at range, and that's what you want in a long range AR. Alright guys, now we are getting into the last four guns that are going to be mentioned. So it's number 2, it is the Ram7 and the Jungle Scrim Bullfrog, or just the Bullfrog in general. Now these two, I cannot tell you how close it was to actually match this with my number 1 spot. These guns are super solid. Each just exceeds in their own spots. Ram7, it has a faster TTK than most long ARs up front, and the Bullfrog probably has a better range than most long-range SMGs. They both have extremely good movement, especially the Bullfrog, so that'll let you just fly around the map, and you'll do perfectly fine no matter what situation you're in. These guns do extremely well. Headshot multipliers are super easy to control. Recoils, well, I don't want to say anything about the Ram7. People have found the Ram7 to recoil just a little bit difficult, but you just have to think it's up to the left, so just try to point like maybe 5 o'clock down. So that's what I think of it. It's super good in my opinion. These two guns are extremely good. Definitely top 2 of my favorite ARs. You ever ask me, I'll probably what do you have a recommendation, Brandon, to use for your guns? This would be it. I totally recommend this loadout. And here's the loadout: FSS Ranger barrel, monolithic, commando, 50 round mags, and the optic. And for the Bullfrog, I kind of got recently invested in this Tiger Team Spotlight barrel because the movement did get nerfed just a tiny bit in this recent nerf. So I was using Spetsnaz grip at one point, but the recoil is actually very simple to control, so you wouldn't have any problems with it. And this is one of my go-to SMGs. And now for a drum roll, time for number 1. And the number 1 spot, in my opinion, is still the AMAX and the Mac10. These two guns are obviously unmatched, and they're in the number 1, or in my opinion, and the top A class in their own special categories. AMAX, I think, is the number 1 AR of all time right now. It probably was the Kilo a long time ago because it did just as much damage, but a lot less recoil. But I feel like some people are kind of thinking the AMAX is overrated and stuff like that. It's not. It's exactly where it should be. The recoil, some people think it's just hard to control, but it really isn't. You just gotta get used to it, and if you find your chance to mount, it will definitely not. It will shake like a graw, which is irrelevant. The recoils are irrelevant. You'll do perfectly fine. The Mac-10, I've been fangirling about this ever since it came out. This gun is amazing. High fire rate, low recoil, high damage. It is definitely one of my go-tos, and it's super fast. And I just feel like none of these SMGs can really be unmatched unless your opponent does happen to get the first shot on you. So without further ado, I'm going to show you my classes. We got the monolithic suppressor, the Zodiac barrel, commando foregrip, 45 round mags, and the VLK 3.0 optic. And then for the SMG, it does look a little bit different, but I like to run agency suppressor, striker grip, 53 round drum, Tiger Team Spotlight, and then no stock. Now you're probably wondering, Brandon, where's your barrel? Shouldn't you be putting on the 6.1 or what I used to run, the 5.9 task force? Well, that's incorrect. In my opinion, I think it does just as much as damage. In fact, it really does. So if you want to go over to TrueGameData.com, you line up just the agency suppressor 5.9 task force and then the agency suppressor by itself, you can see that the graph is kind of just literally, it's exactly the same no matter what you put it. Yes, the strafe speed does increase, but I feel like after all these nerfs, there's not really much of a boost. And I just feel like this is such a solid build, so because you can fly around the map, the ADS speed is very, very good, and the damage is just as good as any other AR or SMG. Well, that is going to wrap it up for this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Yes, I know I haven't posted any of the 3 videos of me playing on keyboard. I'm still working on it. But also, if you don't know, I didn't put any type of sniper builds or any other type of maybe LMG or just a sniper build in general. What I feel like if I did, it wouldn't be very high, considering I said aggressive builds, and a sniper is not really aggressive unless you're using a quick scoping build or something like that. But that will be in the next video, most likely in a week or 2. But you can definitely see some of your favorite snipers. Hint, hint, the Kar 98. And that's pretty much it for this video. If you don't like this video or you disagree, make sure to leave a comment of what you think is the best, and maybe I'll get to you and I'll probably maybe say why I don't think it should be up here, or maybe why I didn't put it. Maybe I forgot. But yeah, make sure to leave a like, subscribe. Oh, I have a Twitter account now, so if you guys want to go follow that, you can see my latest videos. If possible, I'll put that in the link below. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it, guys. Have a good day. Leave a like and subscribe. Bye.